live, so let me see if I can adjust my camera. I was thinking I couldn't go vertical here on YouTube. I guess that's good enough. That's good enough. So, yeah, today is still Sunday, August 13th, 2023. And I told you guys I'd be back on with my horn. I'm just going to do a couple of warm-ups. And I go through a couple of techniques. And by the way, I'm actually going live on all my social media. So I can't stay here too long because I'm going to go live on Instagram. And then I'm going to go live on Facebook. And then Facebook, I might go live on some of the pages that I have there, like Trumpet Lessons and Lead Trumpet. And I may go live on LinkedIn, maybe. LinkedIn is kind of dead, it seems like. I don't know why, but YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, I get most of my students and most of the people wanting to do my stuff. But LinkedIn is not so much. I don't know why that is. But anyway, I might still go live on LinkedIn. So I have this back to school promotion I've been running that you probably have been hearing about it, maybe more than you wanted to, because that's the way I planned it. Is the only time that I just buckle down and I devote a good 3 weeks. I don't even do much playing. And I devote a good 3 weeks for all the people going back to school at various times. If you go back and watch the original video, see some people in Arizona actually started on August 2nd. We had some people in the Waco area and some of the school districts start last week. Waco High School is starting tomorrow. And then there's other school districts around the United States that don't start till the end of this month. So I try to target my back to school promos kind of right in the beginning and the middle of all that. So you got 40% off on just a plethora and variety of all kinds of things, from me coaching you to regular lessons, to consultations, to pre-recorded courses, to live courses with me and you interacting live each week in this kind of medium, either video or on phone. Most of the time it's going to be on phone because I have ears like a hawk has eyes. So I don't have to always see you to know what's going right or wrong. Anyway, I would encourage you. This is my little spiel about the back to school. So I'll try to leave a link in there after we're done. And if you want to stalk me, then you can head over. You'll see another live version of this. That's why I'm not going to make it too long. If you've been involved in any of my live videos before, you'll know they'll go an hour or 2 hours long. That's not going to be the case this time because I have to move on to other platforms and I'm just going to basically do a repeat, although things won't be exactly the same because this is live. I'm not reading from a script. So one thing, if you know anything about me, you know that I really hate trumpet teachers, university professors that just blab, 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 and they'll just talk, but they never seem to be able to get this out. And when they seem to get this out, they just do the same old, boring, collegiate, orchestral kind of stuff that just about anybody with a little bit of advancement on their instrument can do. And I get tired of that. So I'm teaching the upper echelon in the Mount Everest of techniques and playing this instrument. And I also back it up with playing, not just teaching. And that's something that sets me apart. If you want to know what sets me apart from, say, the university trumpet professor in Denton or in Berkeley or spin the wheels around New England Conservatory, is that I actually can play the most difficult things on this instrument, and I don't talk about it. I actually play, okay? Most of these other people that I just mentioned do the same old thing. Now, you still got to be able to do that. If you're learning this instrument, you still got to be able to do it, right? You still got to be able to go through the Charlet. I went through the whole damn book. You still got to be able, well, now most of you, I don't know if you're going to get this, but for the real advanced players, you'd like to be able to go through most of the Biche, the Marcel Biche book. You still got to be able to do some of that stuff in your orchestral excerpts, and of course your Arvids and your Clark and your Max Schlossberg and your Van Nettelbosch and Caffarelli transpose. You got to go through all that, and that's fine. But that's a foundation. If you're going to get to the top level of this instrument, that's your foundation, folks. And if you're teaching it, you have to go above and way beyond. And what is holding back most of those people in Denton at UNT at the New England Conservatory, at Berkeley, Indiana, is chops, folks. You got these players that are long-winded that just talk, but you hardly ever see them get up and play some of the most difficult stuff on the planet. If they don't want to play commercial and lead like me, then how about they can play some Maurice Andre like me, right? I got plenty of that on my channel. You won't see them get up and do that. So that's what sets me apart. You want to know what sets me apart? It's that, and then my attitude. These old farts at these universities I just mentioned, they don't like this attitude because it calls them out. So anyway, that's what sets me apart. I'm no BS. I'm frank. I'm direct. I'm to the point. I'm not going to small talk you to death in a lesson. We're going to get down to business. I'm going to be pretty fair to you, pretty polite for the most part, but I may get direct, and I may have to say, hey, that you're doing that wrong, or this is not sounding good, or that sucks. I mean, I will be direct like that with you if you hire me as a teacher, because you're paying me good money and you wanted to improve and you want to know what's wrong. And I'm not only going to show you what's wrong and right, but I'm going to be able to demonstrate, and that's the thing that sets me apart. For example, if you're wanting to play in a Maynard Ferguson solo, do you think the trumpet professor right now in Denton is going to be able to do that? No. What about that short little fat leprechaun guy in Indiana? Is he going to be able to do that? No. The one time he tried to do it, man, he just crashed and burned. I think he took it off his channel. It was so horrible. He only did one. I've done hundreds and hundreds of live performances with Maynard Ferguson and other well-known trumpet solos that you could think of, from Earth, Wind, and Fire to Blood, Sweat, and Tears. You just name it, Chicago, and then Bill Chase, on and on and on. But you got these people that just sit back in their chair. They're like, they're almighty. I'm the greatest, but they don't play. When you come to me, I'm going to tell you what's good about you, what you need to fix, and then I'm probably going to play. And so you can go, uh-oh, he's just not talking the talk like they did at UNT or like they did at Berkeley, okay? He's actually can do it. So let's start off with a couple of notes. Now, I want to preface all this. You know, first off, I am a trumpet player, and we always have excuses that we like to make, right? Most people I talk to will say, oh, I didn't get a warm-up. If they're not doing too good, oh, I'm sorry, Kurt, I didn't get a warm up. Oh, I'm sorry, Kurt, because I played too much in a gig last night. I'm just not doing that good. So I don't like to hear those excuses, but anyway, I am a trumpet player. I do have to make my excuses. And my excuse is that I just haven't been doing any damn playing. That's the worst excuse, right? Think about it. If you look at my social media, I get up in the morning and I work on my ideas for posts and pictures and text and videos and building web pages and HTML code, and that's about it, folks. So I haven't really been playing, and I haven't been playing any groups. So, but we're going to do a little something here today to let you know that I'm kind of still in the game. So we're going to do it, it's going to be relatively quick because I got to move on to some. Now this will probably be the longest one because I'll probably just zip right into it in the next social media platforms that I move over to. Probably go over to Facebook maybe after this. Yeah, so the first thing, of course, you want to just jumpstart and get some tone happening. I tend to start off on what most of you do, maybe a G or a C. And I'll go through various processes. Sometimes I'll do the Claude Gordon descending arpeggios. They can be anybody's arpeggios. I just call them Claude Gordon because that's where I learned them. We're not going to go through the whole thing because that's going to be boring. But anyway, so you're wanting to just latch onto some tone. Tone, good tone, comes from tone. You can't substitute pencil exercise, isometrics, or even Clark. Now this kind of contradicts Herbert L. Clark, where he said that you can. that you can go through all that. It's super duper soft, and it's a substitution for long tones. I agree with that to a small extent. I still don't think that you can get away from and just going through tone exercises. I still believe that you got to do that. So, but Herbert L. Clark is my man. I mean, he is the self-made trumpet guy, and so I go along with most of it. But I don't think that you can. I did that for a while, but I don't think that you can just take his technical studies and substitute that for any kind of long tone studies that you've been doing. You want to add some tone studies as well. And then, well, we might as well move on to Herbert L. Clark. So, I mean, one thing that you got to keep going. So you want to be thinking in circles here. Every day you want to think, did I go through everything? Did I hit my tone? My tone studies. Did I hit my technique? My flexibility? Did I work on my low range, my middle range, my high range? And then you might want to think, did I work on my articulation and my tonguing and my multiple tonguing and my double tonguing? Did I work on my technique? Did I go through something from Arbenz? Did I do some of the Clark technical stuff? Did I go through some of the etudes that I've been working? And then after that, maybe if you're leaning towards jazz, you could be thinking, did I go through all the different patterns I wanted to and all the keys or the circle of fifths? Or if you're a classical only person, you could be thinking, did I put the extra spit shine on some Charlier stuff that I've been working on, right? Or am I still having trouble transposing in D? And I got to get out that Caparelli book. So you kind of want to circle through all that, and then to put the icing on the cake, you would also want to, of course, go through some sight reading. So you want to, if you're at college, you want to go down to the music library and just either take your horn into that library, pull out a folder, a couple, and just try to sight read through some of that music, and then just put it back if they'll let you do that. That's what I used to do. Okay, so yeah, so you want to keep your fingers going, and there's a whole lot of stuff to go through in the Clark. And I usually don't have the book because I've memorized some of the stuff, for example, from the second study. But one that's really good for your fingers is at the very back of the book. I don't know if it's the 8th study, but it's got some chromatic and diatonic stuff in triplets. It actually goes higher than that, but I usually just keep it low for warming up. So if you got into doing the back part of the Clark every day, you're really gonna, like I mentioned, I'm not playing anywhere right now, and I'm not doing any big performances. But by going through this on a regular basis, I'm pretty certain that my technique is where it would need to be in most cases for most situations. And then, of course, you always want to have some of the harder keys. And there's some famous jazz musicians that say, oh, there's no hard keys, they're all just unfamiliar. That's BS. When you're working with a lot of third finger action, that's going to make the keys more challenging. There's just no question. And when you're working with a lot of 2 and 3 finger action, it's going to, for us trumpet players, it's going to make the keys more challenging. If you're working with mainly first finger and 1 and 2, well, that's a lot easier for us than the opposite. That was F sharp, folks. It almost just sounded like my F, right? Now you want to get it to that point. But I'm guessing most of you, and if I went right now to those conservatories and had any of those guys at UNT, Berkeley, and didn't give them the music, just say that you should know that, right? Because you're at my level, you should be able to do that without looking at the book. They're not gonna be able to do it, guys. They're just not gonna be able to do it. So, but you can do it because I'm letting you know some of the secrets here. You got to be able to work on the more difficult finger patterns. for your instrument. And this applies to tuba and French horn. They also, I don't know if you noticed this, but they make a Herbert L. Clark bass clef version. Yeah, so you trombone players and euphonium, baritone, tuba, you can't just say, oh, I'm not going to get into that trumpet stuff. It's trumpet stuff. No, they actually have it transposed for you, so you can develop your technique. So on and on. So we did a little bit of warm up. We did some fingers. Probably should. I gotta remind myself. I'm gonna repeat this stuff. Maybe I'm gonna do an abbreviated version of this because I got to move on to Instagram and also Facebook. So I'm probably going to cut down on this. But after you warm up a little bit, then you want to start expanding your range, but also your flexibility. One of the techniques that I teach in my 16-week course is what I call the KT Deluxe, and it rolls all three forms of flexibility in one exercise. So what are the three forms of flexibility? Slurs, trills, and what else? Glissandos. The other thing is there's a little breath support involved here because my students, once they get it down, to be able to do it all in one breath. And then there's also kind of a secondary consideration with these because I don't write these out. Now you could pause this video and write it out, the first one, but I like people to use their ears. So in this one, you would also use your ears. So it's a little bit of ear training. And then there's also some music theory involved in this one. So this is a wonderful technique that I teach near the end of the 16-week course. So just to give it to you in a pretty easy way to play where it's all open, you don't have to worry about too many valves. We're in the key of C here, starting on middle G. That was all in one breath. And of course, you noticed it was all slurred, not a lot of tongue and articulation in that one. You heard me slur up and down. Once I got to the high C, what'd you hear? Lip trill, right? And then I came down slurred. Once I got to the low C, what did you hear? A 2-octave glissando, up and down, all in one breath. Now that one, you're using your ear and also your placement, your feel to be able to get those notes. But when you add in all the valves, or you're not using any false fingerings or alternate fingerings, then you start to have to think. You have to think about this one. You're still going to get your flexibility, but you're going to have to be thinking. So if we were to go into the key of F sharp, if I bring that up again, now we have to think a little bit. So if we're going to go to the key of F sharp, now the first one I just did was G to C, because we're in the key of C. If we work our way down to C sharp, and don't play alternate fingerings. In other words, we're not going to do that. We're going to be thinking about the notes, which makes things a little bit more difficult. What just happened? So if you want to cheat on this one to begin with, you could just leave all three down for most of the exercise you just heard me do. But to engage your music theory skills, you're going to have to not use any alternate fingerings and be thinking about the notes in that particular key. So that's another benefit of this particular exercise. Now, also you can expand your range with this. So we started on G to C. That makes you up to high C, which is the very first rung of the upper register ladder. So, what do I want to do here? How about for the key of F? So for the key of F, now we're going to start on C, and our top note should be F. But keep in mind, you're going to be lip trilling that. Now that's more aggressive, right? That's more aggressive. So it's the same format. If you paid attention, you'll notice, wow, these exercises are sounding the same because I'm slurring up. There's a pattern to it. I get to the top note, I lip trill it, I slur down, there's a pattern to it. And where I'm at the tonic, I do a 2-octave lip cert up and down. And I'm not trying to play these super soft. I'm trying to play these as if I was a soloist at Carnegie Hall. I had to be heard. I'm not blasting them out. And for a bonus, am I going to give you a bonus? No, I don't know if I want to go much higher than that. I want to go into, what should we do? I'm not even thinking about these keys. B flat, maybe? There's your bonus, folks. And I hope that you can hear I have complete and utter and total command and control of this instrument. Complete control. And I don't talk and tell you how to do it and then never play it myself, never show you that I can do it. And a lot of teachers, unfortunately, these days, and even in the past, boy, they are good at talking. And they're good at using very long, fancy 4-syllable words. And they could talk, and they got their little tie on, or maybe even their blazer, but they don't play. They can't do. Ask your professor if they can copy exactly what I just did. I did it live. There's no studio magic here. Ask them if they can do that, and they're just going to laugh and say, "Well, why would I want to do that? I'm not going to do that. No, that's just ridiculous. I mean, you make all your music from low C to high C. There's no need to go above high C. You're just wasting your time." So that's probably an answer that you're going to get, or they're going to pull down their glasses and look at you like this, like you're crazy. So you want to learn and become the best. You need to study with someone who can actually do what you want to do. So let's quickly wrap it up with maybe a little bit of articulation. Yes, you should go through some tonguing every day, even if just some scales, but repeated tonguing tends to be the ticket. So it could be single tongue and K tongue and double tongue. And you might want to just pull out a little lick from the Arvins, or some other type of etude. Let's see here. Oh, what can I do? Oh, let's see here. You get the point. What's another one? That's double tonguing. Yeah, that's it. Little triple tongue action. I noticed that I was scrounging there from having played some of those high notes, so I should have probably warmed up a note or two before doing that. What's another one? Of course. So you're going through your various tonguing, and then just a scale. Sorry about that. So that was single tongue. So just in that couple of minute rendition of what I just talked about as far as articulation, I went through some double tongue, some triple tongue, and some single tongue. Now, of course, I would want to do more than that if I wasn't on a live stream, just by myself. And I would have gone, I don't go chop from one technique to the next. I usually will take some break, or if I just got done doing those B flat glissando rips, what was that? Well, I'm not going to go from that and with no break go into tonguing. I'm going to take a 5-minute break, and then I'm probably going to do something like. I'm going to kind of warm myself down a little bit and get the vibration and the circulation happening in my lips after a little bit of rest before I begin my articulation, because that's just too much of a contrast to go from the super duper high like that into trying to play something with finesse. So anyway, this is a live stream here. Where are we at on YouTube? We're on YouTube, and I'm trying to get you guys excited about getting better at this instrument. I'm trying to educate you on how you can do that and maybe how you can avoid some mistakes. For example, now you may already be at a famous conservatory. You may already be stuck with a certain someone who teaches this instrument, and they're not able to do what I just did. But that doesn't mean you are stuck. So I would say continue on with that person. It's very likely if you're at UNT, if you're at IU, if you're at New England Conservatory, if you're at Berkeley, what's the Northwestern maybe, what's that Jake Frost School of Music and others. So if you're at those schools, it's like that person that's teaching you is going to really kick your butt when it comes to style, when it comes to phrasing and learning the basics of what you need to do for your junior and senior recitals or your master recitals. But you can also take from somebody like myself if you want to increase power, endurance, and range, and total command of this instrument as a brass musician. So you stick with whoever you're with, because you're probably stuck with that person if you're in college, and you just make the most of it. But when it comes to, I had to do the same thing myself. When I was in college, in fact, you created a riff, I believe, with the trumpet instructor that I was taken from at Austin Peay State University. When I wanted to start playing the Maynard Ferguson stuff, this guy, this was back in the 80s, this guy had a whole bunch of albums, and I won't mention his name, and he was in love with Maynard, but guess what he couldn't do? No, he could not play, not even the easiest, no. He never got up there, and so when I started asking him about this, that, it started to create a rift between us because he couldn't show me how to do it. He couldn't really talk about it. He would say, well, you just need to listen to Maynard more. So, yeah, so your instructor probably is not going to be able to help you be able to play Bud Brisbane, Bill Chase, who else? Maynard Ferguson, Doc Severinsen. They're just not, I had to learn how to do it on my own. I didn't have anybody that say, hey, do this, do this, do this. Work on this for your range, work on this for your air. They weren't able to do it because they couldn't do it themselves. So if you're interested in taking your playing to the very next level, past what you're doing there at the conservatory, past orchestral excerpts, right? Past Mahler 5. I mean, oh my God. Mahler 5 is not the end of trumpet playing, folks. It's not even the beginning. I mean, it's just, I call it collegiate. And it's also good for people who want to be in a black tuxedo, be all red-faced and very serious, and where everybody's very serious. Yeah, if you like that, there you go. But it is not the reality of real trumpet playing. You need to listen to Bill Chase. You need to listen to Maynard Ferguson. You need to listen to Doc Severinsen if you want to hear the pinnacle of real trumpet playing. And the only way to be able to get there is through the physical. Okay, you have to be able to develop this. So Kurt Thompson, I have a lot to say, and I speak my mind, and I'm very opinionated. But if you want to know the truth, my opinions are based almost entirely on fact. They really are. I observe, I see what's going on, I try it myself, I see what other people can or can't do, and I form opinions based on logic and fact. That's where my opinions come from. And so anyway, we're just going to conclude with, I hope that you get involved. We're going to wind this back to school promo down. It's Sunday night here. I don't know what time it is, 7:30, 8 o'clock Central Time here. And we're going to wind it down. I got to move on. Maybe you should follow me, because maybe by the last live stream I do, I'll be playing like this. So, because I'm going to do the same kind of demo. So, and you know, I'm not playing, so maybe everything's going to fall apart by the last one, and you might get a good laugh. So anyway, there'll eventually be a link in the description, but you don't need, do you need the link? You don't need the link. Trumpetsizzle.com, or type in Trumpetsizzle in your browser, and you're just going to be, there's going to be an explosion of all kinds of stuff related to me and my site. You go there and look, you'll see a little rectangular block, it'll say back to school. Just click on that, you'll be there. And if I didn't mention it, there's also still a 2-for-1 deal going on. Do you know that if you get something over, I don't know if it's over a $200 value like a course, then you can get up to $100 free. So I forgot to mention that. One last thing I will mention, I didn't mention this at all, and too bad we're almost closing, but for the rest of the summer, I do offer a free consultation by phone or chat on any of my live courses. This is not a trumpet lesson. This is about going over your interest in getting involved in the live courses. So I think that's enough to say. I've already gone about 3 times longer, and I got to go shake it off here and get ready to go onto Facebook. So you can follow me over there on Facebook, and I'll do another live stream like this. But anyway, do yourself a favor. Go ahead and go to Trumpetsizzle.com. I don't care if you're a trumpet professor right now at one of those colleges I mentioned. I'm here to tell you, I'm going to bet my right pinky here. I'm here to tell you there's going to be one thing that you're going to find that you're going to do this and go, wait a minute, that actually could help me out. I swear to it. Kurt Thompson, Trumpetsizzle, back to school ends tomorrow, Monday, the 14th at 11:59 p.m., almost at midnight. I'll see you over there. Bye-bye.